Daytech Company's fixed budget performance report for June follows. This is similar to the last problem we just did. So here's their fixed budget. They based it on 7,000 units. They actually achieved a lower level. And like I said before, to make this a useful budget, you should make the comparison of your budgeted amount to your actual results based on the same number of units. Because if you don't, then you're wasting your time. So we've got, let's see here, we'll start with we're going to convert this fixed budget into a flexible budget. So sales under the flexible budget, if we actually achieved 5,900 units in sales, then we should have a budget based on 5,900 units under the flexible amount, which would be if our fixed budget sales were $560,000 and that's based on 7,000 units, we can divide the 7,000 units into the 560, find out what the selling price was, which is $80 a unit, and then multiply that times the actual level that we had results for, or actual level we achieved, which is 5,900 units right there. And so our flexible budget sales number should be $472,000, not 560. So it should be 472. Compare that to the actual results that we have in sales of sales dollars of 525,100, and both of these budgets, the flexible budget and the actual results, are based on the same units sales, which is 5,900. So if we had actual results of 525,100, our flexible budget called for sales of 472. Looks like the variance is going to be $53,100, and it's going to be favorable because our actual results were higher. Let's go on to the next piece. Next piece is variable expenses. We don't have any variable expenses set out here separately in this original budget, but it tells us that the $513,000 figure here, which total expenses, is made up of 350 variable and 163 fixed. So that total has got two pieces and two kinds of expenses. It's got a variable portion and a fixed portion. And we can do the following. We can take that variable portion, 350, divide it by the units that this budget was based on, which was 7,000 units, and we can come up with what the variable cost per unit should be, which is $50, and multiply that times the actual level we achieved, which is 5,900 units, and we'll get the total variable cost that we should have for 5,900 units under this flexible budget, which is $295,000. And we can compare that flexible budget variable cost with what our actual results for variable cost were, and we can do that by the following. It says that this $481,000 actual total expense amount had in it a fixed portion of 153. So the difference between the total and the fixed portion would be what the actual variable total would be, which would be 328. So we had actual variable cost of 328, again, which was the 481 total, and taking out of that the 153 fixed piece of it. So that left 328 as the variable portion for actual results. That leaves us with a variance of $33,000, and it's unfavorable because the actual was higher than the budgeted amount. Next, we've got contribution margin. Contribution margin is under both budget and actual results will be sales minus variable costs. This budget amount should be 177. Our actual contribution margin was 197,100. So that gives us a net variance of $20,100, which is favorable. Fixed cost are next. The fixed cost under the flexible budget should be $163,000 because of this total, 163 was fixed, and it doesn't matter what unit sales we're at because fixed costs are fixed costs. So therefore, regardless of what the units sold were, the fixed costs are going to stay the same. So the flexible budget amount for fixed costs are 163. The actual fixed cost results were 153, and that was given to us up there. So it looks like we have a variance under fixed expenses of $10,000, and it's favorable because the fixed cost actual were lower than the budgeted amount. Then we have income from operations, and that's going to be $14,000. That's the contribution margin there minus the fixed expenses, $14,000. The actual income level was 44.1, and it looks like our variance is $30,100 favorable, and we're finished. So it looks like the difference between this problem was the actual level was lower than the budgeted, and the last problem, the actual results were higher. That is, the sales units were higher than the budgeted amount.